Hi. A couple of days ago I did a video on how I practice, and I have a standard sort of practice process that I work through. And that's what I do for most practices, but there are occasions where I do something a little bit different. And one of those occasions is after I get a new piece. And yesterday at my lesson, I got given a new piece to learn called Russian Winter. And this is a medium-term piece, so it's probably going to take me 6 or 7 weeks to learn. But I thought that what I'd do, just to show you how I go about doing a brand new piece, is I would record this session, which I'm about to do. It's my practice session. And I've got no idea if it's going to be interesting or not. But I thought that it was probably pretty similar to how somebody who hasn't got a teacher would go about learning a piece. And I thought, well, maybe it might be interesting for people to see what my process is. Now, there's probably a couple of advantages I've got in what I'm doing here because I have a teacher, Jane. And one of those is the fact that I know that the piece is something I'm capable of doing. And one of the things that I've picked up along the way is that even though a piece might have a particular name, there are multiple variations of that piece. There are arrangements. So, for example, one of my goals is to be able to play one of the pieces from The Lord of the Rings. That's the movie trilogy. And there's a really nice piece there that I've heard one of her students playing. And it's a grade 8 piece. And in case you haven't figured it out, I'm nowhere near grade 8. However, Jane tells me that you can get arrangements, so it might well be possible that I might be able to play that piece in a variation of it way before I'm anywhere near level 8. Now the problem is that I myself wouldn't know that looking at the piece, but Jane, being the teacher, she does know. So I can imagine it's quite a problem when you're out there trying to learn by yourself. Trying to figure out whether or not the piece you've picked is actually at the right level for you. I haven't got any tips for you how to do that because I don't know how to do that. I'll have a chat to Jane about it and see if there's some ideas she's got, in which case I might do something about that later, or she could do something on her channel. But that's the advantage I've got here now. I know that the piece she's picked for me is going to be right for my level. So that's advantage number one. Advantage number two is that she's already gone through it with me during the lesson. So I've had about 20 minutes worth of introduction to it at this point. And so I've got a bit of a sense for both how it should sound, because she played me a piece of it. And I've got a bit of a sense of where my problem areas might be. Now, I'm about to go away and have lunch and just review the lesson from yesterday before I come back and complete the rest of this video for you. And so at that point, I'll have got an idea of the things and the focus areas that I need to be looking at. But probably the difference between this particular practice session and most of the other ones is that most of it is going to be devoted to learning or reviewing what I picked up yesterday, try and reinforce what I got in the lesson, so that I'm in a really good position for then moving on to my standard practice regime, which will start tomorrow on it, where it'll be the priority piece tomorrow, so we'll get 10 minutes, I think. It'll get 12 minutes tomorrow. So that will be when it gets back into the practice rotation and it's back to normal. So anyway, I thought that'll be it for a way of intro. When the video resumes, I'll be practicing and I'll talk you through my process as I go. Yeah, hopefully it'll be interesting. Who knows? All right, I'm back. I've had my lunch. Watched the lesson from yesterday, so in theory, familiar with what I learned again, and it's time to see if I can do it on my own and try to put it into practice and get a reasonable sort of run under my belt, so that it set me up for future practice sessions. So one of the things that I picked up from the lesson that is not written anywhere on here is that I need to be doing this reasonably slowly and softly. It says here that sadly is how to play it. And I guess slowly might come from a speed thing, but I don't see a speed thing anywhere. So I guess you just have to sort of make it up when you don't see a speed given. It also says here that it's got comped, which basically means that to use pedal, but it doesn't tell you where to do it, although it does say here you could try pedaling once per bar to try and create the right atmosphere, but I'm not going to do any pedaling at the moment. I'm going to focus on excuse me, I'm going to focus on getting one hand getting the notes right, then the other hand getting the notes right, and then if I have time I'll come back and try to put them together. I'm also going to be looking to try and figure out which fingers to use for which notes. The bar one has in both the bass and the treble clef there's a fingering there to tell you what finger to start with, but further on in that line there's none, and there's only a couple of other fingerings further on down in the piece. So that should probably be enough, but what I find is that sometimes if there's an area in the piece where I'm having some difficulty, and it's an area that I just want to go over and over and over again, as it were, then it helps to actually have the fingering for where I'm going to start that section, if you like, noted in. So I'll be looking for spots like that as I go, and trying to figure out the appropriate fingering. Yeah, that's probably the sort of things I'm looking for at the moment, I think. So I'm just going to start with the right hand. Oh, it's got a key signature in it as well, so we're looking for what I call the tricky spots. In this particular case, the key signature says that B is meant to be flat. So that means that everywhere where I see a B, I need to remember to play it flat, unless it's been annotated as being natural, which it actually has in at least one spot. Actually, a couple of spots looking at it now. So those are the tricky spots, as in the notes that you see on the stave are not the ones you actually play. So I've got to try and remember to find those, and if there's any of those that are proving to be a little bit problematic, and as I go and run through, then I'll make a bit of a note somewhere that actually no, that really is flat as well. So I'll be doing that as I look through it. So let's give it a go. So right. So the right hand starts with the third finger on F. So that's that. So we're going to be going. Since that back there again, so that's, yeah. I should have thought about this area, but any of those B's. No, they're not. So something with F. B is there, and I don't get that far, so no, that's right. So no B in that top row yet. And just looking ahead, I don't see any in line 2 either for the top, for the right hand. Oh, that's the other thing that Jane mentioned, is that one of the reasons why she's given me this is that is to try and get the balance between the hands right. The left hand needs to be quite soft, and the right hand, which I think she called the melody, is the louder of the two. So that's what I've just been having a crack at there. So that goes. No, actually. in 3/4 time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and yes, that's how that goes. So it's 1 and 1. Oh, that's it. So that's a 1.5. So it's a 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 it would definitely be better with pedal. Maybe I'll give it a go, see what we get. So let's try with oops. No, I still haven't got the timing right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah. Well, I thought it would sound better with pedal, but it wasn't. Might have had the left hand in there at the same time, and maybe if I was playing it at the right speed, but I guess that will come. Right, so okay, so I've done the first line right hand. I'll continue with the right hand and I'll try and do the second line. So the ends of the bars, the end of the lines, the last bar of the line, well, the last note of the last bar on the line and the first note of the bar in the next bar in the next line are tricky areas for me. So you've got to sort of come from here and go down to here. And often what I find is that those are areas where I have transition delays as I'm trying to actually figure out, okay, what's the next note I go to? Yeah, is it the same note or is it up, is it down? Because when you're looking along the line at the moment, it's quite easy to see a step or a skip. A step is where it goes up by 1 note, a skip is where it goes up by 2. And so in those cases, I don't need to actually necessarily know what the note is. I just need to know, play the next finger, right? So when I'm doing this piece here, for example, it was the very first bar, got my fingering right. I'm holding it down for 1.5, so that's 1 and 2, and then I'm going to the next one down because it's a step, like that. No change on that one. Next one is third finger again. Step up, step down, step down, step down. Then we're starting with the fourth finger. Step down, step up, step down, down, step. And as it happens, on that transition, I need to go back up. So we're looking at now we're going up to G. A, we're going to A. So I'm going to write that one in. So that's A. And let's play with the fifth finger. So starting there, which is, let's back up to the this is a skip here, so it's fifth finger on the A, and it's a skip, so it's going back down to the F. Right. So that's there. Right, so I've now got a hand shift because I need to get, that's where my current fifth finger is, which is on that A, and I need to be doing third finger there. Right. So now I've figured out the best way to do that. So I'm starting there. And then I need to be getting to there. Yeah, it's going to be a hand lift and shift, I think, which will be smoother with the pedal. Definitely. It's a B flat, that one. That might help. Right, so if I start with there. So it's 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 then we now need to go back down to there. So it's definitely a hand shift, so it's going to be a 1 and 2, yeah, 1 and 2 and 3 and that's B as well. That's not a tricky one. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 and yeah, right. So we're up to D. And then we're back down to A. So we're down there with that. Oh, because it's A. Okay. All right. I'm going to try run through there and see if I can keep it smooth. Right, so I'm starting with my third finger on So much for that. Again, so 1. I need to actually, I've been forgetting about my smooth wristy. Softly into it. So it's right. So that's to B flat. So I don't need to worry about that one. Yep. Okay. Okay, so I'm having some problems with the transition from the end of line 3 to the start of bar 4. But up until that point, it was starting to come together. So I'm going to have a crack at the left hand now. Starting back at bar 1. That's D. Okay, so this is a tricky one. So you can see that there, right. So I'm meant to be playing B, so it's got to be B flat, but I'm finding that quite hard to get that in there. Get that third finger, because normally that's an interval of 2, so I normally play that as like that, right? But I can't do it obviously because it's got to be that and that. So I need to figure out a solution to that. So if I'm starting up here with there, I could do that. Feels comfortable. Hand doesn't have to move too much, so it's that, 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 that. That's the first bar, second bar, third bar, fourth bar. Oh, hang on a second. First bar, second bar, third bar, fourth bar, fifth bar. Still not ideal. No, not ideal. Total there. Feels comfortable enough actually. So 6, that's C. No, that's D. So that's D. That's that. So that's the third bar. Fourth bar. It's softer. And then we're into G sharp. And we're back up to D. Okay. So that's that, 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 that. Okay. And see some, right. Okay. That's a reasonably nice change. I have to actually move my hand out of the 5-finger position there. So that's the note for the first bar, second bar, third bar, fourth bar, fifth bar, sixth bar. So that's the end of the first line. So if I just now do that and try to put it together, see how we go. Get the first 3 notes right. We're working together. Hang on. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and So it would help if my fingers are on the right keys. So start again. One and two, and one and two and three and one and two and three and one and two, one and two and three and one and two and three and let's back up to one. Oh no, it's a jump, isn't it? It's right, okay, so it's a tricky spot. So we go from there, there. So it's 5 and 3. So it's going to be 3 and 5. And there was 1. And that's 1 and 4, that one. Right. Well, that's my time up. So what I've managed to accomplish there is the right hand on 3 lines. Not too bad. Most of the notes are there. The time is a bit off, etc. And I've tried to put it together with the left hand, which I've only managed to do line 1 of the left hand, so it's only 6 bars. And I've had a bit of difficulty in actually trying to get the 2 synced up, but that's not going to bother me too much because syncing up at the moment is not that big a deal to me. I'll come back to that after I've got the fingering going right for it, which I think I might have figured out for line 1. So when I come back tomorrow, I'll only have, I think it's 12 minutes I've got for it tomorrow, because it'll be the #1 priority on my normal practice rotation. So tomorrow I'll focus in on the second line with the left hand and try to get that sorted and move it on to the third line. And then once I've got the first 3 lines, so that's 18 bars. So once I've got the first 18 bars sorted in both hands, I'll have a go at trying to bring them hands together and see how that goes. And then I'll start to move on to line 4. Lines 4 and 5 are actually, line 4 is different. Line 5 looks like it's pretty similar to line 1 actually, and line 6 is different again. So line 4 and line 6 are going to, I'll do those individually as separate periods of practice, if you like. So for example, if I do the line 4 later in the week, it'll either get 12 minutes or it'll get whatever the second, it'll get 9 or 12 minutes. I've only got 2 pieces I think at the moment, so I can split the total time between the 2. So that's how I'll handle the rest. So, yeah, not sure if that was interesting, useful or not, but I'll put it up, and if someone finds it helpful, great. Okay, so that's me done.